I'm David Beasley with Global Atlanta. We're here with Tom Glaser, President of the American-Israel Chamber of Commerce. Hi, Tom.
Dave, how are you?
Fine. Tom, you just returned from Israel. Could you tell us briefly how the economy in Israel is doing right now? I know the rest of the world is not doing that great.
At this point, the Israelis are holding their own. I think they're anticipating that they'll get into the next wave of the economic, I wouldn't say tsunami for them. They're actually doing quite well. In a country that's accustomed to 4 and 5% annual growth, the Israelis are expecting modest growth of 1%, let's say, or maybe 2%. I think most people today would consider just holding steady being a pretty good accomplishment in a year like this.
Are there opportunities for American companies to invest in Israel right now?
Absolutely, and that can come in many fashions. One way, obviously, is to basically invest and acquire Israeli companies that have unique technology offerings that can be incorporated into the U.S. companies' product offerings in the United States and around the world. Another is to invest in venture capital that is investing in Israeli startups. Israel has among the most robust startup scene and venture capital scene in the world today. Lots of entrepreneurs, lots of interesting technologies being commercialized and turning into companies. In Israel, since the market itself and the country is so small, Israeli companies right away look for the world market, the United States, as the most important market.
High tech is a very strong sector in Israel.
Right, high tech, life sciences, security, software, telecommunications, clean tech is really strong, and that was a big focus of this trip.
Could you give me an example of a type of company that might be interested in locating in the U.S., an Israeli company that might want to invest in our country?
Sure. Well, as I said, most Israeli companies look at the U.S. as being a major market for them. If they really are serious about getting into the U.S. market, by necessity, they have to open some kind of an organization in the United States. It can be a corporate headquarters, it can be a U.S. or North American office, or it even can be a regional office. Atlanta is a very good East Coast site for Israeli companies, perhaps that set up on in Silicon Valley with a corporate headquarters. Then they can handle the eastern half of the United States from here. What kinds of companies? Water, energy, telecommunications, software, medical devices. These are all companies that we talk to. Many of them were excellent prospects. Some of them have already committed to coming to the United States and are seriously looking at Atlanta.
What does Atlanta have to offer an Israeli company that other parts of the United States may not?
We're in the Eastern time zone, which is very important. So Israel is 7 hours ahead of us. By being in the Eastern time zone, you at least can minimize the conflict that brings, whereas setting up in the Central time zone or on the West Coast makes it that much more difficult. We have fantastic air transportation. Atlanta is one of the few cities in the United States where there is daily nonstop air service to Tel Aviv. It's very convenient. Delta has a major commitment. Besides the time zone advantage and the air transportation advantage, the cost of doing business is much lower here than it is in some of the other cities where they consider, such as New York, Boston, Silicon Valley, and so on. And then there's our organization. We're entering our 17th year. We're the largest and most effective Israel Economic Support Organization in North America. We make a very easy landing for Israeli companies that decide to locate in the community, working with our partners at the Georgia Department of Economic Development, the Metro Atlanta Chamber, the other regional chambers in the area, and so on.
Is Israel generally an easy country to do business with in terms of red tape, bureaucracy, etc.?
I think at one time Israel had a reputation of being perhaps a more difficult country. It isn't today. It's a very westernized, modern country. They are very used to doing business with Americans. America is the largest trading partner. And again, it does help to have guidance from an organization like ours that has been doing this kind of thing for over 15 years. We have a staff person on the ground. We have experienced people here and lots of friends in Israel who can help guide the way.
What would your advice be to a company seeking to do business with Israel? Who should they contact first?
Give us a call. We have a staff person in Israel. We have an extensive knowledge of Israeli companies. We have great connections there. Probably the best thing to do is go on a mission with us like we just had last week. We had very significant companies that are big name companies. The Israelis want to meet them. They want to explore business opportunities. If we bring over serious companies, there's no shortage of Israeli companies that are looking to do business with them.
What is your next mission?
I don't have anything on the books particularly yet. We may take a group for Israel's Life Industry Association conference in June. We'd sometimes do that, but probably next fall. If there's a specific interest, we've even built trips around one company. We did that once for Coca-Cola Company very successfully.
Tom, could you talk a little bit about the recent mission and some of the companies that went along and what the goals were of the trip?
Sure. For example, we had a major water technology company based here in Atlanta that was interested in looking at Israeli companies that had cutting-edge technologies in a variety of different areas of water conservation and actually additional water capacity. They set out, we worked with them, and they determined 15 companies that they really wanted to meet. And in the course of a week, we were able to set up meetings with almost every one of those companies. Likewise, in energy, Georgia Power was an active participant on this trip, both from the standpoint of economic development, but also from alternative and renewable energy efficiency, and all green technologies. And again, same thing where they had an opportunity to tell us the kinds of companies that they wanted to meet. We matched them up with companies that fit that profile, and then in the course of the week probably had 15 or 20 meetings for them. We also used the trip as an opportunity to promote some things that we were particularly interested in. A major event that we have coming up in February is the U.S.-Israel Telehealth Business Exchange. It will be held in Atlanta at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia, February 24th and 25th. We expect 15 Israeli companies to come to Atlanta to participate in the event and to meet major U.S. companies such as AT&T, McKesson, Cox Communications, Healthways, and many other companies that are in disease management and medical devices, and looking at how those technologies can be used to basically diagnose and treat patients in a remote or in a home setting. State Insurance Commissioner John Oxendine is the honorary chairman of that event. He was on the mission with us, and I will tell you he was very, very effective in communicating this opportunity to the Israeli companies. So alternative energy, water, telehealth, telecommunications, these were all things that were a focus of this particular mission.
Could you talk a little bit about some of the larger companies who are now doing business in Georgia from Israel,
Sure.
Or vice versa?
Oh, sure. For example, a software company called Verint, V-E-R-I-N-T. About 2 years ago, Verint acquired Roswell-based Witness Systems, almost paid $1 billion. It's now one of the largest software companies in Georgia. Obviously, that's a major company. They're in voice recognition, CRM type software. Another major company is Amdocs. Amdocs is in also customer relationship management, billing software for telecommunications companies. AT&T is a very major customer of theirs. They have hundreds of employees here. And then smaller companies. You know, we like to find those Israeli companies that have the potential to really grow into something. An example we like to use is Given Imaging. Given Imaging is a company that I first came across when it had one employee, the inventor. Today they have about 130 employees in the Atlanta area, have about 250 employees in Israel, and it's one of the leading companies in their field of medical devices. And we see other Israeli companies that we met on the trip who have the potential to be another Given Imaging. So we like to start when they're young and early and see how we can wrap our arms around them, help advise them, develop customer relationships for them, strategic partnerships. Ultimately, when we can develop those business relationships, all other things being equal, Atlanta is a great place for them to locate.